So what if everything that you thought was true about faith was actually wrong? What if the way you've been taught to understand faith is the very thing that's holding you back from living a life of abundance, of purpose, of power? And what if all you needed to do was make one small shift in how you think about faith and how you see faith to open up a limitless possibility of what you can do, have, and be in life? Would you make that shift? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share what faith really is and how you can use it to live a life without limitation. So stay tuned. This video might be the shift that you've been waiting on. And before I share what faith really is, let's talk about what it's not. Number one, faith is not giving things to God and expecting Him to move on your behalf while you sit back and do nothing. And I saw this growing up so much in church, where people came in with problems, with challenges, with situations, and they ain't know what to do. So when they asked for help and people couldn't help them, they just say, you know what? Give it to God, have some faith, be patient, and He'll move on your behalf. And they did exactly what they were told. They gave it to God. They had faith. They were patient. And they waited and they waited and they waited, and nothing happened. Year after year, they were in the same place, the same position, doing the same things, spending time with the same people, no change at all. That's because we cannot just give it to God and expect for Him to move. We have a responsibility to participate in our own rescue. Thing number two, so many people have this idea that a good life, a God life, can only exist without challenges. Well, that's just not true. Faith does not disqualify you from pain, from challenges or hardships. I got news for you. Everybody that's living in this world is dealing with some type of challenge. It's trying to overcome some type of adversity. That's how we grow in life, right? You don't go through life unscathed. You're going to get some bumps, some bruises. There's going to be some things that almost weaken you, cripple you. But when you truly have faith, that's all you need to persevere. Thing number three, faith is not this immediate miracle that just unfolds in your life. It takes time sometimes. So there's been instances in the Bible where things happen just like this for people. And there's also been multiple instances where it took years in order for somebody to receive the miracle that they were praying for, that they were asking God for. So those things are not faith. But what is faith? Well, I'm glad you asked. And for me, I like to break things down in a way that they can be easily understood. So I created what I call the faith equation. And that's D plus E plus A equals faith. I'll tell you more about that in a second, but first I want to share a story with you that's a perfect illustration of the faith equation. And it's about the woman with the issue of blood in the Bible, right? So this woman had a blood disease that she suffered from for 12 long years. Now remember, in the beginning of the video, I said faith is not this instantaneous miracle. Most often, it's going to take some time in order for that thing to manifest in your life. So she has this disease for 12 years. And she's paying doctors. She's going to the emergency room. She's going to urgent care. She's doing the telehealth thing. I don't even know if they had internet back in the day. Probably didn't. But she's trying to seek medical care so that she can get better. But it's failing. It's not working. She's getting worse. And she hears that Jesus is in town. So she says, if I can just touch Him, then I know that I'll be healed. So she gets up out of the hospital and she crawls to where Jesus is, like Lieutenant Dan when he got his legs blown off. And she says, move, get out of my way. I don't mean to be rude, but I got to get to Jesus. I need to be healed. Get out of my way. Move. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But I need to be healed. And she gets to Jesus and grabs his cloak. And he says, who touched me? And they said, man, everybody touching you, bruh. You out here working miracles. Do you see what you're doing? Do you see it? He like, nah, who touched me? And he looks down and he sees this woman with the issue of blood. And he says, because of your faith, you are healed. Go in peace. And just like that, she was healed. And every time I hear that, it gets me so fired up and excited because faith never fails. You see, that woman had a desire. That's what the D stands for. A desire. She wanted to be healed. She wanted to be free from the blood disease. And that's the easy part of the faith equation for most people. Everybody wants something. You want a better house, a better car, more money, a better relationship, a deeper connection with the people around you. It's easy to want stuff. But the other parts of this equation are the difficult parts for people. So she had a desire. I want to be healed. Then she moved to the next step. Expectation. If I just touch Jesus, then I know I'll be healed. You see, expectation is your superpower. And all that is just your belief in a future outcome. But expectation works two ways. You can believe that whatever you desire will happen, or you can believe whatever you desire won't happen. And you are 100% correct with both of them. But most people believe that they cannot have the things that God has promised them. Man, I come from the hood. There's no way that I could go and do that. I don't speak well. There's no way I could talk to people. I've been through a divorce. There's no way somebody would love me. And you give yourself all of these reasons and stories about why you can't have what you desire. But you have to expect that whatever God has told you will happen. And the last part of this equation is the A, which is action. You have to get up and participate in your own rescue. It's not going to happen with you just sitting there. Even though that woman was sick, even though she wasn't well, she got up out of that hospital and made her way to where God was. She didn't sit there and wait on him. She went and found him. And if you truly expected to have what God has showed you about your life, then waking up and doing the work is easy. You don't have to worry about how it's going to happen because that's God's work. That's what we do give to him. You don't have to worry about when it's going to happen because that's God's work. That's what we do give to him. But your work is to make sure that you are prepared. You got to train yourself. So when it does happen, you can keep the blessing. You can grow it. You can multiply it. So faith makes all things work. Desire, expectation, action. And when you do this, you can live a life without limitation. Your biggest dreams become a reality. And that's how you please God. So my question for you tonight is, where is this showing up in your life? Where do you have a desire, but you expect the opposite of what you want? You don't really expect to get it, to have it, to be it. Where are you not putting in the work when it comes to the vision that God has showed you for your life? And my challenge for you is simple. Faith it until you make it. If you apply these three things that I shared with you, you will live a limitless life. So if this video resonated with you, I want you to share it. Drop a comment below. Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow me for more just like this on how you can take your life to the next level. I'll see you on the next one.